Hi, got a review of the Bushnell T300L HD. It's a bit of a unique light, this one. It claims to have a perfect beam, edge-to-edge square beam. So I've got some of the rated specs on the light on the box. I think they're all probably done to ANSI FL1 standard. 330 lumens. So don't get a huge amount with it. It really is just the box, the flashlight itself, and some Duracell AA batteries. There's no spare O-rings or lanyards or any of the other things you might expect with a modern flashlight. There is a reasonably good instruction manual. So let's have a look at the actual flashlight itself. So here it is. It's a bit of a beast. I'll be honest, I was actually expecting it to be more sort of a mini mag sort of sized. Even though this runs on 4 AAs, it is still quite a large light. A bit of a comparison. Here's a 2D mag light. So we're definitely in the sort of 2D mag sort of size and weight class. Well, maybe not weight. Actually, it weighs a lot less than you think it would. That's probably because it hasn't got the decals in there. So in terms of the fit and finish of the light, actually it's nice. It's nice. It's not perhaps a premium lights. If you're into flashlights, if you have stuff from Eagle Tack or Convoy, then this is a different sort of look and feel. But it's good. It's got some sort of rubberized finish grip on the main body of the light, which is quite nice. The construction of it seems pretty good. Which it should be, because it's not exactly a cheap unit to buy. Threads are pretty smooth, but they're just they're not flat threaded at all, and it came with no lube on them at all, so I have lubed them up. So the power source, it's supplied with these nasty things. I'll be switching to 20 loops once these have run out, but we might as well make the most of them while they're here. Nothing much to sort of see. You can take the batteries out, and there's just a couple of contacts right down at the bottom. Probably can't even see them on the camera. And the light doesn't look friendly to be dismantled. We've got some sort of Allen screw fitments around the base of the head here. So reluctantly, I haven't dismantled it yet. It'd be kind of nice to see a little bit more about the lens, but we'll come on to that. So let's put the batteries back in. So overall, the light does feel like a quality item. You don't sort of feel like you're buying some sort of a cheap light for the price. So the most interesting thing about this light is obviously the lens, and the fact that it claims to produce a square beam. Now, any of us that have had sort of zoomy lights before know that if you've got a square die on the LED, you get a square projection of the light. I don't believe this is what this light is doing. I think this has got something more like a projector style setup in here, with multiple lenses to actually achieve the square beam, and some sort of filter to actually give it the profile. I obviously can't confirm that, but it is a large fixed lens head on the light here. And if we look down it, it's a bit hard to see, but it almost looks like there's multiple LEDs down in there, but I don't think there are. I think it just looks like it. So we can get the camera perhaps to focus a little better. It really is quite a strange setup. I don't think the camera's going to play ball on that. And indeed, when you turn the light on, you can see you do get a nice square, but if you hold it up close, you can see you do get sort of multiple reflections. It's probably coming out a bit bright on the camera, but I have some still images to show this. So I don't know whether there's one LED in there or multiple. So on to the actual use of the light. You've got two switches on the main body. Now, having used the light a bit outside, I actually find these switches really hard to find in the dark. They're super low profile, but for some reason when you're in the dark, they're set back a little bit from the head. They're just really difficult to find. The front one is for the red light on it. So both of these switches are forward clickies and momentary. So it has this this red light here, which you can turn on, or you can just use it as a momentary light. Red lights, they have their use. I'm not really sure what it's for on this light, perhaps from leaving it activated, and it could be a beacon to help try and find the light, or to try and make you more visible at distance to somebody. The output of the red light is really low. I know we're in lit conditions here, but even at this range, holding it almost point blank to the table, there's almost no evidence that the actual red light is on, off, on. And likewise, even in the dark, unless you're holding it less than 6 inches to something, you just cannot see the red light at all. The main mode, we've got 2 modes. Again, it's just a forward momentary or full click to turn it on, and you've got high and you've got low. So it's very quick and easy to use. I haven't been able to detect any form of PWM on this, which is quite surprising, because often these lights, that's exactly what you think you'd get. So even on the low mode here, it looks like it's a current controlled light. So yeah, the beam, it's different. At this sort of range, you don't really get the best of it. You can see that it looks a little bit messy perhaps around the edges of the beam, and at long range it doesn't really have the massive throw, but sort of mid-range suddenly the light sort of comes alive and it has a purpose. Sort of difficult to say, probably 50 yards or so, it's working really well, and it does light up a usable area brilliantly. It claims 330 lumens, which is not all that high in the modern age, but it's the fact that the entire beam is 330 lumens. It's completely evenly lit, and it actually gives you a really nice beam profile. And once you get this to about 10 yards distance, you get no artifacts in the beam at all. So it isn't just your regular zoomy light. Hopefully I do have a zoomy light just to compare it to. So if you're used to any of my reviews, you might have seen this one before. This was a budget light called a Sqaure, very highly rated for its price and output. On a good battery, this thing sucks about 5 amps, so it really checks out a lot of lumens for a little light. It's got an XML2 down there and a zooming lens, so you can get a square beam essentially. So if we put it into the throw mode, you can see, oh look, square beam. Let's just drop the output down a bit. But what you can also see is you do get more reflections on the outside. You can see it quite quickly there. You get like a circle around it, and we all know, even if the camera isn't going to show it, that you actually get to see all the artifacts of the actual die as well. So in this case, an XML2, you get little dots on the die image, and you've got 2 notches on it. And it's also much smaller. If we compare this to the Bushnell, you can see there's a huge difference. Even at this range, we're talking 4 times the area. Well, actually, you get outside and start using it, and you have the zoomy in the throw mode. You're talking maybe sort of a 10th or a 20th of the area it's actually lighting up. Now the zoomy does have more throw, there's no denying that, but in terms of lighting stuff up, actually this Bushnell's quite good. So I do have some outdoor video footage that I'll take on to the end of this, and there are some still images and a written review to accompany it. Yeah, it's an oddball light, but it is very unique. Personally, it'd been nice if it'd been a little bit smaller, a little bit more pocket friendly. Lights this size I don't actually tend to use very much, but for certain use, possibly not actually countryside use because it doesn't have the long throw on it, but certainly sort of large backyard, or sort of urban use, that square beam profile actually works a lot better than you think it would. and it does just light up something very, very well, and it doesn't distract you because it's just lighting up that area. Areas to the side of it remain dark, so you don't get spill, you don't intrude on people quite so much as you would with a standard reflector light. Yeah, if you want something different, definitely worth a try. It's cheap to run as it runs on AAs. You don't need any special batteries or chargers for it. Hello Cat, you've come to help, have you? So yeah, not really much more to say. It's not particularly feature rich light. It's all about that square beam, which I say, one of these days I may actually decide to try and strip the light down, but it's a little bit pricey just to take it apart and run the risk of breaking it, and my hunch is that it won't be friendly at taking it apart there. But I am impressed, not just the fact it doesn't have PWM, but also the tint. Can't really see it here, and perhaps doesn't show up on the video. I don't know what LEDs are in this, but the tint on it's pretty nice. It's quite a neutral colour. I think it's because you've got that even illumination. You know, you're not getting any sort of aberrations or distortion from a reflector, which you often see that the hotspot and the spill beam are different colours. This is just one very nice colour, and it's very neutral, which again is kind of rare for this type of light. You kind of expect most of these sort of manufacturers to be using cool light emitters, cool white emitters. Sorry. Yeah, it's a Bushnell T300L HD. So we're here with the Bushnell T300L HD. This is the square beam torch. As you can see, we have a very, very square beam. It's a bit of an oddball one, this. Doesn't throw massively far, but the range that it does light stuff up at, it actually lights stuff up really, really well. Just give an idea of the size of the square. Just standing next to the car. And thing is, the area it lights up is perfectly evenly illuminated. It really is, and I think wide open fields probably aren't the place for this, but in a backyard or a more confined space, I think this beam really has potential. In terms of the actual torch itself, I find the switches to be really hard to find in the dark, so much so that you really need another light source to actually figure out where they are. It's got dual switches. They're both sort of forward clicky, so you haven't got to push them all the way. One switch does the red light on the front. I'm somewhat unsure about the red light, apart from using it as a beacon. It really is not very bright at all, and you really need to be in absolute pitch darkness to even see that it's actually working, and have it really has absolutely no range at all. And then you have two main modes for the light. So you've got high and you've got low. Doesn't seem to have any form of PWM, and amazingly the tint is really, really good on it. I think because it's even illumination, it's hard to tell whether it really is meant to be a cool or a neutral white, but it really does seem to be more of a neutral tint. Build quality of the light is great. It feels like a quality item. Quite unique construction compared to the other flashlights and torches I own. You've got a rubberized grip and some Allen bolts holding parts of the torch together on the outside. But it is definitely an interesting light. I say this square beam, it's odd. It definitely has a use, and it is not like using a zoomie. Like it is a very, very clear beam. There are no artifacts in it at all. It's pin sharp. A little bit more range would be nice, although the light's only rated at about 330 lumens. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what we're talking, maybe somewhere sort of 30-50 yards. It's working really good. It lights up stuff really well, but beyond that it just hasn't quite got the scope. Not sure if I'll be able to demo this very successfully here, but I have brought a small zoomy torch with me. This is a Sqaure, uses an XML2. As you can see, we've got the sort of standard projection of a dye there, but it's not a particularly large area being lit up. And just compare it to the Sqaure beam, as you can see, it's quite a difference. It's not surprising that the Sqaure, when it's in its full sort of throw mode, is a more intense beam. But I mean, this little Sqaure, you know, on a good battery, sucking 4 or 5 amps, you know, probably well over 1,000 lumens coming out of it. But it is lighting up, you know, only a fraction of the area, and is not such a clear beam. If we try and just see, I'll try and zoom it out a little bit, try and get a bit more similar size, you know. And again, here you can sort of see the tints. You know, we've got much better colourings coming from the Bushnell. You know, it really is quite a unique light. So here's the Sqaure. I mean, it's lighting up a very small area when you've got it in the throw mode, compared to the Bushnell. You know, that Sqaure beam is actually a very useful beam. You know, it's a large light, runs on 4 AA batteries, but physically it's about the size of a 2D mag light, so we're not talking a pocket torch here. But yeah, this projection system on the lens, very unique, but it has promise. I think it could be a very useful torch.